And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fowl Territory number 298. I am your cordial host, Gizzard Gary, and today is February the 14th, 2025. Happy Valentine's Day to one and all out there this evening. And let's see who we got out there in the audience first off here. Looks like first one out there is Gun Websites. And he says, good evening, everyone. We have Mr. Bob Dabalina out there. We got Hillbilly Up out there. And in here, we got Ron 2A Matters. And we have Weston out there in the audience. So welcome one and all to the show. We might have a sparse crowd tonight, being it's Valentine's Day. I suppose a lot of people have better things to do than to watch a silly YouTube podcast. But for those of you who take the time to watch, I appreciate having you, everybody. So let's take a look at my panel of one other person. And that, of course, as I told you before, is Hillbilly Up. Good evening, sir.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Doing all right. Yeah, you too. We got jumping in here on the Facebook side. We have Ozzy Osbourne out there. All right. So we got 11 people. This might be a short show. Yeah, I never even thought of, I'm pretty sure I've had doing this, 7, 8 years. Surely I've done it on Valentine's Day before, but I don't remember. But it's cold. And maybe people are just spending the night huddled up with their significant other or something like that, God bless everybody that's got something better to do than to be here. I don't. I, of course, am solitary, living alone, as Hillbilly and I discussed earlier. Let's see, I believe it's 12 years or so. In August, it'll be 12 years. Yeah. So we have, let's say hello to Gerald Muir out there, and also to Ozzy, who's also came in on the YouTube side. I do want to mention we are having a giveaway at the top of the next hour, and the hashtag to enter that giveaway is #FT298. All right, so let's see. I didn't do anything for Valentine's Day. I'll be honest with you, other than say happy Valentine's Day to my daughter and my granddaughter. About you, Hillbilly, I think you told me you went out to dinner tonight.
Yeah. Me and my wife, we went to a little, sweetheart dinner, whatever, they called it there at church. And we had a really good time. Had some really good food. We played some games and stuff, and so yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah. So let's see. Trying to figure out there in the audience. Let's see, there's not a whole lot going on out there. So let's see. What's going on in the news? Anything of significance do you know of that we could talk about or anything like that?
Oh man. No, I've been seeing, I didn't actually go through it all, just kind of been seeing on, some YouTube pages and stuff about something that Trump and them or whatever they may have done or did that people thought would help the 2A community. So that's one thing I need to go and look at and kind of get a better picture on, find out exactly what was going on. But
Want to say hello to Jacob S. out there. We also have Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy and M. Gabriel all have jumped in. We got
hey, fellas.
13 people, so maybe not everybody's spending the night with their significant other. So,
Yeah.
Everybody's saying hi to each other out there. I did notice, I was just looking, evidently there was an MSNBC report that Elon Musk secured a $400 million contract for armored Tesla vehicles with the U.S. Department of State, and it was reported that it was a deal with the Trump administration. However, upon further review, it turns out that that contract dated prior to the inauguration, and actually it was initiated during the Biden administration. So, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reporting you get from places like MSNBC. It's going to be slanted. Want to say hi to Block 9 out there.
Hey, buddy.
All right. He's in between Block 8 and Block 10, by the way. So, yeah, but other than that, let's see. We had a little bit of reprieve from the cold weather today. It got up into the low 40s. I think it melted a good bit of the snow. We didn't have a whole lot of sun. But they say we're getting more bad weather coming maybe the first of next week or something like that again. So,
yeah, that's what they're saying.
Let's see. Weston says, I'm finishing painting a bedroom, so I'll be listening but not chatting too much.
All right.
Well, all righty. That's fair. Got these things you got to do. So, wow. 16 people out there. Oh, looky here. Looky here. There's a man himself. Ron Wayne has joined us.
Hey, Ron. How you doing, buddy?
M. Gabriel says, wife wants something to drink and I'm the bartender. Be right back. There you go. And we've been joined also by Artak and daughters. He says, yo. So we're starting to get a crew in here anyway. Got 15 out there. So if you guys got anything you want to bring up out there that we can discuss, you go ahead. And meanwhile, Hillbilly and I are going to talk about knives for a second because we just got time.
All right.
Block 9 says, Gary, I saw where Burlington is going to be -5 next week. Ouch. Yuck. That's not good at all. Anyway, what's your favorite knife company, Hillbilly, and why?
Oh, man. Well, I don't really have any of these, what I would call newer brands, like the CVVs and all that. Like what, you have and a lot of people do.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
But, just from ones that like I've had, Old Timer, Buck, Charade, a lot of those just always been great quality knives. I mean, I think I almost probably still have every knife I've ever, had in the past. And they just, all those brands just seem to work great. And, I was always I always like carrying a jackknife, which is three-bladed knife. And, I've
I
carried
think
one
that's
of those.
probably what I had when I was a little boy myself, and for the longest time. And if you'd asked me 10 years ago what my favorite brand of knife was, I'd have probably told you it was Arc Trail. And I would have meant it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bought a lot of those in my time, gave them away as gifts and everything else. They made pretty decent knives for the price, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. I remember the Charades. I bought my dad an Old Timer one time. I remember that. Bucks, of course, I owned a Buck. multi-tools. Well, I owned a Leatherman
Oh
for
yeah.
years, if you want to count them in there.
Oh yeah.
So those were the brands I knew growing up. Now I've been introduced to a lot of stuff in the last few years, being a knife promoter now or reviewer, however you like.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I want to address a story Jacob's saying. He says, I had a messed up morning today. Went to start my car, but the system said the power steering had a failure, so I couldn't drive it. Went to borrow my dad's white truck, and it wouldn't turn over because the battery was dead. And then I ended up using my dad's work truck to leave for work. And as I was leaving our driveway, our mailbox had been run over in the middle of the night. Oh, man.
Dang, buddy. You may have just
That,
went back in and went to bed.
I think I would have. I think I would have at that point. That was kind of a sign, probably. Well, I'm sorry. Hopefully, the rest of your day went better. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Hopefully, man. But
But
yeah, I
those were the
remember.
knives I owned growing up.
Yeah. I mean, I remember getting, I think maybe my first, it may not have been my first knife. It's probably more like a fingernail, you know, file type knife, maybe with a blade on it. But, I mean, I got a hand-me-down Barlow. It was a 2-blade Barlow. And I liked it real well, but man, I wanted a jackknife, 3-blade jackknife. And, I remember, the first one I got, I was just so excited to get me a jackknife because that's all what all the cool kids had, because you could pop both blades out, and you could throw them. We played that game chicken all the time, where stand across from each other and try to stick it close to your feet or whatever, the other person's feet. And yeah. And so, but
And
now,
the thing is, you carried those knives. We didn't have pocket clips back in those days. Those knives usually rode in the
yeah.
bottom of your pocket, maybe even with a little bit of change or keys in there with them. They'd rub together. They weren't pretty after a while. Sometimes the cheaper ones would rust a little bit. You'd have to get the rust off of them, keep them oiled and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so, Jay, well, there you go.
Old timer. I've had this for years. I still carry this every day. But yeah.
So Jacob says, well, when I came home after work, there's a letter in the mailbox that handwritten supposedly by the person who ran over it, said they would cover the cost of repairing it. Well, there you go.
Nice.
There's so Bubba. we got Bubba Triclops Ballistics out there. He says, love my cold steels and Ozarks. Haven't tried Civivi yet, but by golly, you're making me want one. Well, good.
Good. Hey, Bubba.
My videos are doing some good then, hopefully. Let's see. Jacob says they're lucky they didn't hit the telephone pole that was right next to the mailbox. Yeah, that would have been worse.
Yeah.
Justin Grimm says, dropped in to say hi, met my wife on Valentine's Day, so needless to say, I can't stay.
Hey, Justin.
I understand totally. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you and the missus. All right. So it sounds like Jacob's story may be turning out to have a little bit better ending after all. So.
Yeah, I hope so.
Of course, somebody's got a messed up car if they took down a mailbox. So, yeah. Now, Artak and Daughters earlier was in here. He said, sorry about the mailbox, had too much to drink. And then he says, I have no intentions on paying for that mailbox. Ignore that. Well, if you're that far off course that you made it all the way up into Indiana and hit a mailbox, I tell you what. You're a ways from home. Could have been on a road trip. No, hopefully not. Hopefully not drinking and driving that far. Shouldn't be drinking and driving at all. I don't encourage that whatsoever. That's your public service announcement from the Gizzard Gary channel. Don't drink and drive. If you've had too much to drink, get somebody to take you home. Come back and get your vehicle later. Trust me, I've done it. It can happen.
Yeah.
I've had to go back the next morning and get my vehicle. Yes, I have.
Yeah. Now, also,
once you remember where you left it.
Yeah. Also talking about nice. I had, a pretty decent handful of just straight blade knives, fits in the sheaths and kind of same way there. A bowie, buck, charade, different ones. Some of them are basically, might be for skinning, and stuff like that. But I hardly ever use those unless I'm going camping or hunting or something, But
So Mr. Bob says, I drink green tea when I drive. If I drink too much, I just hit a rest stop to pee and go on my merry way. There you go. I tell you what, at my age, 2 or 3 hours about all the further I can get down the road. And it's like, yeah, better stop. So I usually top off the tank at the same time. If I got to grab something to eat, I get that done at the same time too. It's like you just aren't gonna. In the old days, I could have drove 6 or 7 hours straight, but I can't do it no more.
Empty one tank and fill up the other.
That, or I get a little sore sitting in my vehicle, sitting in the same position for 2 or 3 hours. When I get out, I can barely walk for the first 3 or 4 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Hip pain and everything else. And so I think it's good to get out of the vehicle every once in a while and just walk around. It's a little restful too.
No kidding.
Mr. Bob says, depends will extend that drive time. Yeah, it probably would. Jacob says, and based on what the mechanic said, if the steering mechanism has to be replaced, it'll be about $1,800. Ouch.
Yeah.
That'll curb your firearms buying for a while.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jacob. I don't know if it's an electric one. Used to steering rack for hydraulic, but my daughter and son-in-law, they have a little, I think it's a Malibu, and it started having steering problems, and so they just took it to the dealership where they bought it. I mean, it wasn't under warranty or nothing, and they told them, said, "Oh, that steering rack's bad. It's electric, blah blah blah." And so they put a new steering rack in it, and it was high dollar. I mean, I'm thinking like $1,800, $2,000, and it didn't fix it. So they're like, "Oh, well, it's the mechanism and the steering itself." And so they had to spend like another $800 or $1,000. And I'm like, why? What was wrong with the steering wheels we've had for years and years and running a hydraulic pump,
Yeah. I had an old boy one time. I was having steering problems with the vehicle. Well, I was having. Oh, excuse me. I have to take that back. It's transmission issues. And he told me, he said, just to even take a look at the transmission, he says, to pull the transmission, he says, you're looking at about $1,000 labor.
Wow.
Just to do that. So we got another panelist finally. Let's say hello to our friend from Keystone State himself, the man who cooks and shoots pictures. He is Guns and Barbecue.
Good evening. How's it going?
Good evening. Welcome. Bubba says they make vehicles too darn complicated these days, purposefully, so you have to pay more. That's a fact. They make headlights to where you practically have to have a mechanic to replace them. They put batteries in places that you have to be a contortionist to get to. Taillights on a lot of vehicles, you have to go inside the vehicle and pull a panel out just to get to them. And there's no good reason for that other than to make you bring your vehicle into the mechanic rather than fixing stuff yourself. When I was growing up, to replace a headlight on a vehicle, basically you needed to remove 2 or 3 screws to take the piece of chrome that held the headlight in, pop it out, unplug the sealed beam, put the new sealed beam in, plug it in, put that plate back on. That's it.
And he's
all
good
from the
to
outside
go,
of the vehicle.
And he's good to go for years, not just months.
Yeah, those things would last forever. Same like tail lights, turn signals, all that stuff was accessible from the outside of the vehicle. You never had to lift the hood for stuff like that. Battery, well, it was all by itself up in the front corner. pretty accessible where you could get to it. All kinds of room. You didn't have to snake around to try to find the cables. Let's see. Block 9 wants to know what kind of vehicle he has. Block 9 says water pump inside the engine. So what'd you do for Valentine's Day? Guns and barbecue? Anything? Same as I did? Nothing?
I went and hung out with a bunch of women that were married, and we rolled out wrestling mats and taped them down and all kinds of other shit, and it was not a good time. Their husbands were there too, so.
Oh, yeah. And their kids.
I thought you was going to say you got your butt whipped.
I mean, it would have been something.
Some of them gals nowadays, it'd be tough, yeah. Jacob says less than 65,000 miles on it. Wow.
2010 Ford Fusion.
Huh? Bubba says, did they put a hit out on your mailbox, man?
Probably what's wrong with that steering is Jacob come in the night before. Mailbox took out the steering.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and forward. Bubba, if you want to join, I sent you an invite. You were on here last week. So since we're a little shy of panelists tonight, for a while it's just two of us here.
Yeah.
So let's ask Guns and Barbecue. Generally speaking, for most of your life, what's your go-to knife company?
A cheap one.
Well, you're just about like me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, it was probably Buck. I don't know. No.
Well, Buck was one of the ones you always heard of.
Buck is. I mean,
or Civivi, any of that stuff. I'd never heard of it until a few years ago.
So I think my favorite hunting knife was probably my old timer.
Yeah.
I love that thing. Like, I mean, like today, if you put a bunch of knives in front of me and said pick a hunting knife, and an old timer was one of them, I'm picking the old timer every time. There's something about that blade shape, everything to it, the handles on those. Man, they're just a great hunting knife for gutting your deer. Yeah, and I was never, growing up, I've said it in the past that, I grew up a FUD. So, firearms, knives, they weren't really a thing where it was like, oh, this is for self-defense, all this fun jazz. It was like, oh, this is for killing animals, and that's all we're going to utilize it for. So.
Now, I don't know about you guys' family, but in my family, a man didn't own a whole bunch of knives. My dad might have had one or two, and they might have been really old. Of course, Dad had a stone where he sharpened his knives and everything, and we had an old butcher knife that's in the kitchen, and I think that had belonged to one of my grandparents at one time or another. That thing was old and ancient, and obviously it was a relic, but it's about yay long, and it was sharper than snot because Dad kept it sharp. And
so
those parents.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say same thing with grandparents. The paring knife that grandmother, would use to peel potatoes and apples and everything. Those are always just sharp as can be and were great knives.
Yeah, those parent knives. My goodness, you want to talk about a knife that would send you to the friggin' hospital for stitches? Holy shit! Those things were no joke. But yeah, like my grandfather, he collected knives, but I never knew him to be like a knife guy or anything. It was just one of those things. where like when he passed, it was like, oh, okay, he's got a bunch of knives in the bottom of the gun cabinet.
Well, another thing, and I'd like to welcome Bubba to the chat. Good evening,
Hey,
Bubba.
Bubba.
How'd it do, fellas? How'd it do?
There
Good,
he is.
buddy.
Sorry, I was trying to set everything up again. It's
You're-
hard to set stuff up in such a tiny dang room.
yeah.
Ugh.
So
I was gonna say I just bought me a brand new knife with a company that I'd never tried out before. I bought my grandmother a Damascus meat cleaver from Husk, and I'd never fooled around with them before. It was the first experience. But let me tell you something. That sucker is so sharp as a cleaver that I thought it might have been used as a skinning knife. I'm not even kidding. Like, this thing could fillet. I mean, it's ridiculously sharp. And then I bought me an Arkansas stone here recently. They're running around 300 beans for one of them. I got it for like $80. I was just like, this is probably going to be a dud. By God, it ain't. It ain't no dud. And,
yeah, I forgot about fishing knives. Yeah, if you fished, you always had a knife. Might have had it in your tackle box. Probably had a sheath on it or something like that, so it wouldn't cut the bejesus out of you when you reached in to get something else. But there's probably a knife in there.
Yeah.
Dad used to do a lot of fishing. You'd have to cut fish hooks out of fish. You'd have to clean them. Sometimes you'd clean them right then and there. But I was going to mention back in the day, and I'm old enough that men usually just carried knives in their pockets. You didn't have, like I say, you didn't have the pocket clips, so you really didn't show off your knife much. Knives weren't something you showed off or held in front of somebody to show your status symbol most of the time. It's just something everybody had to carry, and almost everybody I knew carried one.
Mm-hmm.
And very rare that you'd see somebody with a belt clip. I mean, occasionally you had your young buck who was trying to look really tough, and he'd have his hunting knife on his belt and stuff like that. But usually they were younger guys and stuff like that trying to look tough. But now, for the most part, knives were just something you used as a tool.
Well,
Definitely not a status symbol.
I remember people carrying I guess you'd call it a knife holster or whatever. It'd be like a nice big good size like buck or whatever folding knife in there. The leather lid would go over and snap on, and
I always carried my Leatherman that way. Yeah. Still do, as far as that goes, in the leather sheath they give you. I hate those nylon things that you get with some of the cheaper stuff, but Leatherman, true to its name, I mean, if you're going to sell a tool called a Leatherman, you ought to have a leather pouch for it to go in, or you're kind of a hypocrite, I'd say. So.
Instead of leather, it's plastic. Wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, really. That wouldn't look good. Mr. Bob says, the knife I use most these days is one from the Skinny Knife Club. I keep those handy on my desk for all kinds of things. That's because I keep my buck in my jeans pocket, and I'm too old to wear pants more than 2 or 3 times a week. Rodney Peters is out there. He says, did and still do have the same German pocket knife, 46 years and counting.
Wow.
Block 9 says, I carried an old timer and now Benchmade. And Jacob has a decent collection of $2 knives from yard sales. I think I have like 30 of them. Mr. Nice. Bob says, I've been carrying a Buck 503 Prince for close to 30 years.
Nice.
And Gerald says, Buck, old timer, craftsman back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about this Buck 503 Prince. I don't right off the top of my head know what he's talking about. So, aha. Okay.
My uncle had one of those that he carried.
That's a nice looking knife.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody else is curious like me, I got an ad that popped up right in the middle of my screen here. Let's see. There we go. So there is the 503 Prince. So that's just a single blade. Looks like a single blade lockback, but it's not super huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said. I know I was delayed. I was trying to get to the mute button. Sorry.
Yeah, that took you a while. But nice looking knife out there. We do have somebody else who is totally not lurking out there, and that is Defense Dad. He says, "Evening, sons of bitches," and Bubba wants to show us something here. Look at that.
Nice.
So that's that cleaver I just got. And that thing, let me tell you something. I'm not kidding when I say this. That thing is razor sharp.
Wow.
Like I can cut paper just touching it. Like it's ridiculously sharp. But I did not think it could get that sharp. I thought this was going to be like a knockoff company or something like that. But these guys know their steel. I'm telling you that right now.
Now, does it come with something to keep it in, like maybe a block or something? Or
yeah, it's got its own case and everything for it. It's a nice, pretty heavy duty case. It's right there in the back. It folds over. It's got a magnetic lock front on it. It's a really nice case. And I couldn't believe it because I only paid like $34 for it. Like right now, I think it's like $54 without the sale that was going on. But it is a absolutely fantastic knife.
So the wood handles riveted in, looks like. Full tang. So looks like it's got some good weight to it. I can't really tell, but
it's about a little under a pound, I think. But it's nice. I mean, it just glides. It just glides through everything I've cut with it. And I really could not believe it. Cut through tendons like no other when I was gutting something. I was just like, my gosh, I almost want to keep this in my tackle box.
People talk about, and I've had my daughter ask me because she go to buy chicken and stuff at the store, and she says, well, all they have is whole chicken. She says, I don't know how to cut up a chicken. Do you know how to cut up a chicken? I said, well, yes, I know how to cut up a chicken. Kids nowadays don't know how to do things
it's
like
so
that.
easy.
And of course, a lot of them don't have the tools, the nice heavy knives where you can break a breastbone and stuff like that and just chop right through. A lot of people don't have knives that can handle that. But that was an everyday task when I was growing up. You bought whole chickens. You didn't buy them pre-cut up. We didn't have that kind of money. You cut your own darn chicken up. It really takes a minute or two, and you can have a chicken cut into all the pieces you need to have. So,
well, I just soon have it like that though, because I'll skin the whole chicken at one time.
Oh, you skin them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
My grandmother used to boil them. She'd boil them so good that you could literally take the chicken, slap it down, and all the meat just falls off it. I mean, we're talking tender. I was just like, my God, I've only seen that done with ribs.
My mom cooked a lot of chickens back in the day.
Yeah, if you ever wonder about chicken skin, cut or pull the skin off something, just throw it in an empty skillet on the stove, and you believe how much grease will end up in that skillet.
Oh yeah, but it's delicious.
Yeah,
that's what gives it flavor, hillbilly. Don't you?
Do the same thing with bacon.
I flavor, my chicken, with seasoning or whatever. And if you got the skin on there, you can't flavor the meat. But
that's the problem people make. I don't mean to cut you off, hillbilly. Because people don't know how to cook their chicken skin, and they take the first bite because they don't make it bite through, and the whole piece of skin comes off. Now they're just eating flavorless chicken. I agree 100% with you.
Yeah.
But boy, I don't know nowadays whether it's a lost art or what, but my mom, my grandma cooked many a chicken, and they knew how to do it. By golly, and that stuff had flavor all the way through, easy to eat. And shoot, even the crumbs that were left over in the bottom of the pan, they'd set those on a paper towel to dry because people would fight over those too.
Oh yeah.
My dad and I would fight over those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
even when
ate the white meat generally. Well, I ate the wings. I would eat the legs. Dad would eat the thighs and stuff like in the back, and Mom would eat the breast. And then Mom was one of these weird people who would eat all the other parts too. So she ate the hearts. She ate the livers. It's like, yuck.
I like chicken livers and chicken gizzards.
I like gizzards now. I did not when I was a kid. You couldn't have paid me to eat them. Going back, Mr. Bob says I started carrying that when I wore suits and hung out with the alphabet soup crowd. Defense Dad says I have a ton of knives, but I carry my Gerber armbar drive every day. Rodney says knife in Gorn. Block 9 says I found my Benchmade bug out at the Texas Motor Speedway. Somebody got drunk and lost it. Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Captain Codebook is out there. He says 250th anniversary of Lexington and Concord, April 19th this year. Going to buy a red jacket and put holes in myself. We got Denny's Plant-Based Journey is out there in the chat. Hello, Denny. So, but yeah, knives and cooking. You forget about all the things you had knives for, and most of the time you probably had them for like years and years and years and years. Everything, even the kitchen knives and stuff. We didn't buy new stuff.
Yeah.
But you'd maintain them. If they weren't sharp, you'd sharpen them. You didn't go buy a new knife. The only people who got new knives is maybe people who just got married and they got them for wedding gifts or something like that,
Yeah, we have one of those bigger knives, kitchen knives, and it has a plastic, hard sheet that it goes in, and it's got a sharpener. So every time you slide that in and pull it out, it sharpens blade. And then if you need to just sharpen it, you can, sit there and go in and out or go out with it each time. And that thing, it's just one of my favorite knives. We've had it for years and years. And
so we got William Hall out there. Block 9 says the next door neighbor said her doctor told her to quit eating the skin on chicken because her arteries were clogged so bad. Yeah, if it's a cholesterol issue, then yeah, they're probably going to tell you that.
There's so many other things that she's eating, though. Like, stuff like that annoys me. Like, oh, don't eat the skin on the chicken. It's bad for you. Like, the chicken skin is a good fat. Like, if you're that bad off that you got to stop eating chicken skin, you're eating a ton of other bad stuff. Like, chicken skin's the least of your worries at that point.
And a lot of it has to do with your activity too.
Oh, 100%.
If you're getting exercise and, getting the nutrients you need and everything else, by and large, your body can cope with that little bit of cholesterol. We do have the Saint out there in the audience, and he mentions Damascus. Then he says, what's that? Chicken fat? Oh, yeah. Chicken fat. That's what flavors your chicken soups and stuff like that, man.
Like my women like I like my chicken with a little bit of fat on the end.
There ain't nothing better, you people who have bought cans of chicken soup and stuff like that. Learn how to cook yourself a chicken soup sometime from scratch. Boil the chicken down and everything, debone it, break up the meat a little bit. Oh my gosh, you will never have a better chicken soup.
Fresh veggies in there, and you gotta have celery, damn it.
A little bit of celery, that makes it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, and then if you're going to put noodles in it, do that towards the end, probably. You don't, otherwise you're just going to melt them and dissolve them. So, but yeah, homemade chicken soup, and it does take a while. It does. Yep. But it smells darn good in your kitchen. Your whole house will smell like chicken soup for a while. Trust me on this. If you haven't done it, get a recipe. Figure out how to do it. It's good. It's really good. Like a homemade beef stew. If if you think Denny Moore and stuff like that's good, make your own beef stew sometime. Oh man.
If you're really up for it, just do a live chicken. Start with that.
Well, they're kind of hard to get them to stay in the pan. You have to hold the lid down for a while. Oh, but that's why Dad said Grandma used to do it. If she was gonna get dinner ready, she'd go out back and grab a couple chickens, and he said she just grabbed them by the neck and swung them around the top of her head a couple times, break that neck and stuff like that. That way they didn't fight too much afterwards. And I think of my grandma, because once I came along, my grandma was in her 70s, 80s, and I couldn't think of that old woman going out and grabbing a chicken. By golly, when she was in her 30s and 40s, I'll bet you she could do her. So.
Oh yeah, my granny still, I think, in her 60s and 70s was still, killing chickens. She's still working the garden, and the same way my grandmother on the other side. They had chickens up till they died, and and garden also, and so it was pretty common for us. And then if if you end up getting like some meat chickens to raise, just for that, like 30, 40 chickens, you most usually got like a certain breed, and then you pretty much just butchered all them in one day, and all that done and put them up, freeze and everything. And
Mr. Bob says there's a chicken place here called Hodak's. They make more than chicken, but their t-shirts say love, peace, and chicken grease. There you go. Captain Codebook says raise our own meat chickens in a chicken tractor, so much tastier than caged corn-fed.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Bob says they sell trays of fried chicken and put white bread in the bottom of the tray to soak up the grease. That'll do it. Hey, you're making me hungry now. I'm gonna have to go buy a chicken. The Saint says Gizzard looks like he's 50, all that good home cooking. Yeah, I'm all of 50 and then some. I haven't seen 50 in 15 years. And yeah, Mom's been gone. Mom's been gone 7 years now, so that I still remember. Now I can't cook as good chicken as my mom can. Sister probably could, but that's not me. But back to knives. Now knives is a whole different deal. You go into stores and you'll have rows and rows of knives. Everything from, you can still get your $5 or $10 knives and your little pen knives and stuff like you used to. And then you go up to these fancy things like maybe you've seen me review, which some of them you've seen on my shorts. I'll be honest with you, one of those is an $800 knife.
Dang.
Now, I'd like to meet the old boy that's got the kind of coin to shell out $800 for a pocket knife. He's probably driving something a lot fancier than me, too.
I was going to say, how many sales did you get off that one?
None. That's just it. I went to SHOT Show and I asked some of these companies if they'd send me knives to review, and I told them, I said, by and large, I would try to get knives that are $100 or under, because most of the people who watch my channel aren't going to spend much more than that on a pocket knife.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely are you going to. So, not saying y'all are poor or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
I don't know a whole lot of people. Now I own a $300 knife or two. They're collector's items, and I've got them just because I enjoy collecting them. But I know a lot of people would never do something like that, and I understand that too. Real quick, the Fence Dad says, back on the knife thing, my best knife in the collection is my old Browning 810 featherweight. Still looks new after 35 plus years.
Wow. Nice.
Rodney Peters says, not poor, just cheap. I didn't say that. Frugal.
There you go.
There you go. you careful where you spend your money because you got other things to spend your money on, like most of us do.
Those Grammets that Bubba's giving away, those were nice.
And those don't break the bank.
No, they're nice.
Yes, I have one.
They're pretty cheap. I mean, if I can afford to give them away, they're cheap. Let's just be honest. But they've been some of the best knives I've ever gotten. Like, and they're made by Albatross, which, if everybody remembers, the original stuff that Hillbilly gave away was them Albatross utility knives, the ones that had the little flashlight stuff in them, and flint and all that stuff. That company makes them karambits, and they're amazing. They're all steel. They're beautifully made. They're extremely sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a review video of that and put it on Amazon, and I have managed to sell some of those, more than you'd think.
Well, the blades on both of those Albatross, 2 or 3 of them that I had tried, those had great blades on them. They had a nice edge on them, and they were sharp.
I've just never been, and it might just be me. I'm not 100% sure, but it might just be me. But I don't like serration on a knife. I don't unless it is specifically designated for something that needs serration. I don't like serrated knives.
Same.
It's just something about. I don't like sharpening them either. Oh my God, that is a pain. That is the biggest pain in the world to sharpen a serration.
And
I've got a tool specifically for sharpening serration, but I don't like it.
So Denny says, I bought a couple of knives at Academy today for a birthday gift. They are SOG knives. I have a couple SOG knives. They were $50 knives, but rang up at $26. I would have gone back to get more, but that was the last package.
Oh, wow.
We got C4 Defense out there. Sarge is out there entering the giveaway. We have the Saint says, I grabbed a Spyderco paramilitary too and never looked back. I hear that's a good knife. I don't own any Spydercos. I do own this fancy knife here. Thanks to a friend of mine. He calls it Skinny Black Knife. This is actually by a company called Funbro.
Yeah,
I believe.
Funbro.
And they make them in different colors. I've got 3 of the 4. They are not an expensive knife at all. You can buy them off Amazon, but for a good utility knife, if you want something you can open an envelope with or something like that, or open a package, they got a sturdy lock back on them. They've got a pocket clip. They open and close really easy. And I know they're not a high dollar knife, and I'm by no means hawking them, but hey, if you want to get by on a budget, you could do a lot worse than this right here. Let me tell you.
Yeah, they got that one design they just came out with. I think it's the same company that makes them, but they got the same skinny knife, but it's got wood engravings and stuff on it. It's got wooden handles, and it looks beautiful.
Talking like this one?
I believe, yes, it's kind of like that, but it has wood.
It's got wood on it.
Like
inserts.
Like it looks like a rosewood.
This one's a blue one. They got different colors.
Yeah, those. I mean, some of these cheaper knives are doing a lot better, man. I like K-Bar and stuff like that, but I don't want to pay K-Bar price how high they've gotten.
Yeah.
Well, I just like these skinny knives. I got this blue one here that I won a while back, and then just the last month or so, I won this lavender, pink, purple, whatever you want to call it. And there's yet another multicolored one that I'm craving, but I don't have yet. And since they are prizes, I won't buy myself one. Yeah. So I'm going to wait till I win it, just like I did the rest of these.
So you're just liking the multicolored one.
That's right. And there's a guy by the name of Hillbilly, by the way. If you become a channel member, you get a chance to win one of those every week. So a bit of a plug there.
Thank you.
I also give away knives on my member streams too. I give away stuff that I've reviewed and stuff like that. So
yeah, you give away
a lot of people like free knives. I don't know what it is. You say, I got a knife, I'm going to give it to you. People say, all right, let's go.
Well, my son-in-law seen this online, this knife here. It's a neck knife, or the chain comes off and it does have a pocket clip on it,
Okay.
And anyway, he sent that to me. He ordered it and sent it to me. He's like, Dad, he's like, I think this would be a cool knife. It's also got like a bottle opener here. And it is really cool looking, but man, you can cut butter at that thing. I mean, it's sharp on the point, but man, it just does not have an edge on it, a sharp edge. I mean, maybe a person can put one on it, but
yeah, you're not going to whittle with a knife like that anyway. So I want to mention real quick before I forget that Gear Websites is your source for every Second Matters gun channels, gear, ammo, ID, and more. They have patches, stickers, and other items, and every Friday is Free Patch Friday when you buy cool stuff at gearwebsites.com.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
And now it's time for that guy we only see every once in a while on here. Sometimes he slithers into the studio. I think you might know who I'm talking about. So let's see if I can get him to come on the screen and sing for us today.
Lizard Larry's got something for you, Lizard Larry. Gonna give it to you, Lizard Larry. Gonna give it to you. Large prostate won't slow him down, chasing grandmas all over town. Got a sidekick named George the Cat. Lizard Larry's got something for you, Lizard Larry. Gonna give it to you, Lizard Larry. Gonna give it to you.
All right. And now, by the magic of video recording, I bring you this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's that time of the show where we give stuff away. In tonight's giveaway portion of Fowl Territory, we're going to have all sorts of stuff and things to give away, folks. So get those typing fingers ready, and we're going to see what we're giving away. Gizzard, what do we have tonight for this wonderful audience?
Well, give stuff away, huh? Let's see what I can do. By the way, this prize giveaway is sponsored by my prize sponsor. That would be these folks right here, Aegis Gun Care. So they are the leader in performance and perfection. Check them out at Aegis Gun Care. That's AEGIS guncare.com. Tell them Gizzard sent you. So we're going to give away the official Gizzard Gary channel sticker. George Cortez is out there in the audience. Hello, George. We're going to give away the Fowl Territory thumbnail sticker. Yeah, we'll get those hashtags out there. FT298, pound FT298. Now, here's a company. Excess Sights, you've heard of them. They have the fastest sights in any light. Well, guess what? They're having a President's Day sale all weekend long, all the way through the end of Monday. So if you go to their website, and that is excesssights.com, you get 30% off everything on their website. So if you've ever wanted to buy some Excess Sights, now's the time. Okay, we've got a sticker from the good folks at Live Free Armory. Makers of the Apollo 11, true American manufacturing there at Live Free Armory. In honor of our absentee panelist, Obnoxious One, we have, courtesy of DM Foss, the Haterade Thirst Destroyer. And this is the green one. I think it says Disillusionment. Okay, so that's a bottle of disillusionment there. DM Foss also sends us the Hell No Kitty sticker and the Papa Smurf. Oh, thanks to DM Foss. Okay, so we got a lot of stickers tonight. We got this one from ergogrips.net. Ergo, take control. We also have a sticker here from MacGar. How about a sticker from Gun Owners of America? That's right. Protectors of constitutional freedom there, GOA. Also have a sticker from our good friend Ron Wayne. I believe he might still be out there in the audience. This is his official channel sticker. And here's another person, Artak and Daughters. There is their channel sticker. We got 2 Live Moo out there in the audience. Oh, Moo. Okay, so we got this sticker. It says, Rise and Shine, Mother Cluckers. This came from Hawaii. That was sent to me by Squibload a year or so ago.
Oh, wow.
Rise and Shine, Mother Cluckers. Yeah, you better believe it. We got this sticker from Blackout Coffee Company. And we have this one from a company you may have heard of. I get it right side up. It is Smith & Wesson. I have that upside down. And then a big sticker from, biggest sticker I believe today from IWI, Israel Weapon Industries. All right, so that is it for the stickers. So let's get to the patches. We got a patch here, the 2024 NRA Dallas patch from Palmetto State Armory. And then just to show I'm not horsing around, we have this old school Anderson manufacturing patch. That's their old logo.
I believe you pointed that up.
I did what?
Ponied that up.
I did pony that up. That's right. We got this patch. This is a sewn patch from Dead Air Silencers. Very cool. Courtesy of Stan from SS Pawn. We also have this patch from Inforce. And then we have this one, Glock Perfection.
There you go, Bubba.
There you go. Maybe Bubba will win tonight. There you go. We also have a couple. There's Ron Wayne. He's still out there. Okay. We have a couple of these zipper pulls from IWI. We're going to throw that in tonight's giveaway. You're also going to get from EAA a complete set of coasters. See, there's 6 or 7 of them in there. You'll love them. You put your drinks on there. You can play Frisbee with them. You do all kinds of cool stuff with those. George says, Glock, the AK pistol of guns everywhere. I love it. Okay, and we have the official Gizzard Gary pen. And yeah, it has a bit of a blue haze to it because it's got a protective cover that you peel off when you get it. That's to keep it from being scratched. But it's pretty cool. You can put it on your jacket. You can put it on your hat. You could put it on your cat, but you're not going to get your cat to come to you once you do that, more than likely. Mr. Bob says, around here it's called Emotional Exploitation Day. There you go. George says, Happy VD Day, everyone. That always makes me laugh because that's also my dad's initials. So anyway, and also the winner of tonight's drawing will receive a cleaner and lubricant combo kit from Aegis Gun Care. So there's quite a bit in tonight's drawing. Somebody's going to be able to clean their guns, put patches on their panel, put a pin on their cat, and stick stickers all over everything. So, and you got a couple zipper pulls. You got a little bit of everything in this giveaway. So let's go ahead and bring up this StreamYard giveaway tool. Oops, shit. I think I screwed up. And that's different.
Oh.
That was different. I'm feeding back on myself now. Hello?
These technical difficulties brought to you by the Gun Snob.
Somebody got their. I got volume feeding back on me. Somebody got their YouTube on? Or?
No, I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, I mute my mic so you don't hear the jet engine in the background.
What is going on?
I'll go ahead and mute just to make sure.
Test 1, 2. Nope, I'm still here. No. Oh, I see why. I had 2 StreamYards running for some reason.
You know what? I blame Batman.
I thought I accidentally closed it a second ago. That's why I panicked. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so there's a giveaway tool. We only have 17 people entered in the drawing. So if you want to try entering your hashtag again real quick, #FT298, I'll give you a minute or two. Then we'll go ahead and draw. So if you're still out there, you want to make sure you're in the giveaway, type that hashtag #FT298 for the chance to win the stickers, the swag pack, and the cleaner and lubricant combo kit from the good folks at Aegis Gun Care. And the reason I'm having everybody enter their tags in, I did have to close and reopen the StreamYard giveaway tool. When I did that, I think it lost some of the entries off there. So it started up at 17. I could have swore it had 22 when I first brought it up. So we're back up to 21 now. There's 22. We're getting there. I'm showing we have 30 people viewing right now, all on YouTube. Okay. Nobody on X. Got Michael Dunn out there, just got here. You want to enter your hashtag real quick, Michael? #FT298. Give Michael a chance to get in here. Alex Parlin's out there. He just entered his hashtag. Got 23. Captain Codebook says entering the hashtag doesn't give you more entries, guys. No, it does not. But in case you got lost from when I accidentally closed it a second ago, it'll make sure you're in there. That's for sure. So George entered hashtag FT298. I don't know if that'll work. Okay, well, let's let Guns and Barbecue count us down to the giveaway.
1,000. 3, 2, 1. Go.
He said go. All right.
Oh,
So
that's
good
how
luck,
fast
everybody.
really fast.
Who's our winner gonna be this week? 2 Live Moo.
First time winner.
The Moo got it.
2 Live Moo, you do have to be present to win. Are you out there in the chat? 2 Live Moo.
Congratulations, buddy.
Moo.
Gary really does. Gary always has like to butter up the cows on Valentine's Day.
And there he is. 2 Live Moo is tonight's winner. So congratulations to 2 Live Moo. You are the wiener Aegis cleaner.
Woohoo!
Congratulations to the winner of this week's Fowl Territory prize giveaway. I will share your information with the good folks at Aegis Gun Care. And I don't think I need you to email me your real name and address because I'm pretty sure I know where you are. So, yeah, congratulations, buddy. Okay. All right. So I need to get a comment off the screen here because we got some other business to take care of here on the channel. As you may know, we may have a little bit more of this show to look at. So let's go ahead and transition to our next segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for you to send your Gorn to Gizzard or Gorn at gizzardgary.com. It's time for Show Us Your Gun.
He screws that up every time. You'd think as many times as he's done that.
You think he'd stick around a little bit too. He just comes in, does an announcement, and leaves.
Almost like a
Hey, you
tick.
know, if you don't show up, I'm going to use your recording. That's kind of the way it works. Of course, I know all these married guys are probably at home snuggling up with their spouses, you know, in front of a roaring fire and all this stuff. Probably not even watching this silly show.
Well, you won't
I
guess
know-
what happened, Gary. I was still looking for that charm that I got my wife. I found it.
You found it. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sarge says,
American
can you
flag.
follow up with Aegis and make sure they have my address? Yes, sir. I certainly will. And that goes for anybody else too. If you've got a prize you were supposed to win from me, even if it does come from Aegis Gun Care, if it's late getting there, if you never got it, let me know. Send me an email or whatever, because Rod at Aegis Gun Care, he's told us before, he says, sometimes I lose track. He says, don't feel bad if you have to remind me. So I will certainly follow up on that because we definitely want everybody to get their prizes. I will tell you, if you won any of my drawings, if you won Fowl Territory last week or my members chat, I haven't been to the post office in a while. So yeah, I need to get some stuff mailed out, but I'm not that far behind. So anyway, we are at this Show Us Your Gorn segment. And on that, we ask that you send your Gorn to Gorn at gizzardgary.com. It's real simple, GORN at gizzardgary.com. Please include your channel name in the email, like in the title or something, so I'll know who, because I may not know you by your email address, and I don't want to have to read your email address out loud on the chat. So just tell us who you are. Unless it's pretty obvious, you know, if your email is gizzardgary@gmail.com, I think you're going to figure out who that is. But some people, you know, it's not that easy. If you show a firearm and if it's in your hand, I would prefer it be on a table or on a stand or something where YouTube doesn't accidentally think somebody's trying to hold a gun on the live stream. Yes, you wouldn't think it'd be that hard for them to figure out, but then again, it happens. Also have asked if you want to, since it is Valentine's Day, if you would like to send a picture of your significant other. I'm not telling you you have to. I understand some people that's private. By all means, don't do it. But if you want to shout out to somebody that you love in your life or whatever, send a picture. You don't have to include names if you don't want to. If you don't want to send them at all, I understand that too.
Yeah,
So,
please don't send pictures of somebody else's significant other.
don't do that. And you can send regular Gorn if you want to, like this one from Hillbilly. This is some good old-fashioned Gorn here. And he says, this is my new Savage Mark II FV 22LR with Arkin 6x24-50.
Hopefully it's going to shoot accurate. I'm hoping.
Do you have a gun snob take that picture? Because it looks like you cut off the end of the barrel.
Yeah.
I just
Well, the
kidding.
barrel's
Yeah,
like
I know
10
you're
foot
trying to
long.
concentrate on a scope and stuff like that. I like that match you got in the background there.
Yeah.
On a Caldwell steady rest. Looks
Yeah, it's
good.
one of those high dollar ones off Amazon.
Well, it works.
20
I don't know.
bucks or whatever.
That first picture that you sent me before we started, is that something you're wanting to share or no?
Yeah, you can share it. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, then let's go ahead and do that too. I think most of the people who know you, you're going to know who this is. But isn't that a cute couple now? I tell you, he says that's me and Ames. Of course, that's Ames on the left. Out to dinner this evening, I believe you had this taken, right?
Yeah. Our church had a dinner thing all set up, and when we walked in, they had this set up, and they're like, "Hand us your phone, unlock your phone, hand it to us, and we'll take your picture." So, yeah.
So was the food good?
Oh yeah. Local barbecue place catered it, and oh my gosh, it was really, really good. And even dessert, they had like homemade peach cobbler and stuff like that, and so yeah, it was really, really good.
Okay, we got this from Rodney Peters. And he says, my 46-year EDC knife. So he's had that a while.
Nice.
Mercator. Yeah.
Real nice.
That is nice. Yeah, that's got the look of being carried in a pocket for a while, used. I love to see a knife that's been used a lot and sharpened a few times. That means you've really loved that knife over the years. It wasn't just, he says German. It wasn't just something you kept in your pocket to show off. It's actually done knife things. I see Garage Guy 879 is out there, by the way. But yeah, I love to see people use their knives. I always say if you're going to buy a knife, use it. Of course, if you buy one of those $800 knives, you're probably not ever going to cut anything, but you might. You never know. He says it was black. Okay. Okay, so I got this, and I'm going to turn this real quick so it'll fit the screen a little better. And this is from Captain Codebook. And he says, new bump in the night safety device. Won this at a Mary Brown memorial. New bump in the night safety device. So it looks like that'd work.
Was it a 40 or is it a 9?
Really?
Looked like a 40, judging by the front of the barrel, but
Can't tell by the mag, I guess, can you? No.
9 mil. Okay.
Oh,
I like Kel-Tec sub 2000s. I really do. I really like the fact that Kel-Tec will listen to their consumer base, and they made the little bitty twist thing, and then of course Ruger had to copy them. I didn't say that out loud. Did I say that out loud? No, I didn't say that out loud.
it's all good. Okay. And then we have, this is from Defense Dad. And the caption on it reads, recycled pick, but the knife is that Browning 810. Okay, so if I make this a little easier for everybody to see. So there's a gun if you want to get a good look at the knife. There you go. Yeah, it's got the Browning logo on there. Nothing wrong with it, buddy. Looks good. All right, so we got this from Mr. Bob Dobalina. And he says, this is, says Griselda and Hank. He says, Griselda and her Henry H-001, Idle Chamber 22 short, long, and long rifle. It's a tack driver and makes her smile every time she pulls the trigger, except that last one when it goes click and she has to reload. Very nice. All right.
I like that.
You're just hoping YouTube doesn't freak out over that.
Oh, we got somebody. Oh, Guns and Barbecue got knocked out. He's coming back. Okay.
Back.
Back in the saddle again. Okay, so we got some pictures here from this guy called Guns and Barbecue, strangely enough. Here's the first one. There are a few in here. He says, yeah, not really Gorn on these. And then there's a paragraph I'm not allowed to read out loud, so I won't. So, what have we got here? We got some wrestling.
To fill some time. Yeah, this was Penn State versus Michigan last Friday.
So how did you get fortunate enough to work at some place like this?
I applied for a press credential, and then they were like, "Oh, you want to come take photos? We'll give you the best seat in the house." I was like, "No fucking way." Pardon my French.
That's a nice thing. If you're photo media or video media, yeah, they usually set you up in a pretty good spot. The bad thing is, what people don't realize is if you're taking pictures, that's about all you get to do.
Yep.
You miss out on a lot of everything that's going on around you because you're looking, well, in your case, obviously that's pretty much what you're going to do anyway. But for those of us who've photographed shot show through the back of an iPhone, which a lot of us have done before, a lot of times that's all you're paying attention to.
Yeah,
So,
I could get that. Yep.
but then again, you're trying to frame it. And obviously, in your case, you're trying to get all the subjects in there. You're trying to get the main subject centered and make sure that you're capturing the moment. And I think with the crowd kind of they're not lit real well in the background, and the mat is lit, looks like by a spot or a couple spots. So,
Yep.
they pretty much did your lighting for you.
Yeah, it was incredible, and this match was insane. This wrestler here is Josh Barr. He's a true freshman for Penn State, and I think he's like top 3 in the nation right now. He's an absolute stud. But he was down by 1 with like 15 seconds left, and they got into a good scramble right at the end, and with like 2-3 seconds left, he got a reversal, which put him up by 1. And, with those couple seconds left, he ended up winning. And the place just exploded. To just be down Matt's side when the place erupted like that, I mean, still getting goosebumps thinking about it. It was absolutely insane.
And it looked like they had a pretty good crowd for wrestling. A lot of times they don't draw big crowded events like that. So.
Oh no, Penn State wrestling, Iowa wrestling, they sell out.
That's incredible.
Yeah. The only reason Iowa wrestling sells more tickets than Penn State is because they can hold more.
that's got to feel real good to the athletes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's incredible. But yeah,
And this, by the
friggin'
way, for those of you who are not aware, Guns and Barbecue has a side business called Blind Guy Photography,
something like that.
and he does this professionally, and he's very good at what he does.
Well, thank you.
He's got another picture we can look at here, so let's look at the second one. And it is in color. So if you want to get a little bit of a feel of the color that you would have seen there.
Well, Jamie
this.
Johnson said once, you should have seen it in color. So
you've got the blues and the yellows and everything. And it looks like somebody's in a pickle right now.
the Penn State guy was a bit of a pickle, but he's got a good thigh pry there. And the next shot, he was actually able to get the guy flattened out and whatnot. So great defense on his part.
So did you find yourself yelling out things at these guys while they were wrestling?
Oh God, no.
Trying to coach them?
No. Even when I am coaching, because I've got to use the camera to coach, and I'll have parents say, "Oh, can you get some photos of my kid or something?" I'm like, "Am I coaching?" Then no. I cannot focus on composing photos and coaching at the same time. I've tried it, and if I'm coaching, I might get a good photo, and it's just by pure luck. And likewise, if I'm taking photos, I cannot coach. Like, I might say, while I'm waiting for some action to happen, like, get your goddamn head off the mat, or like, half's there on the right, like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. But, other than when the action's really slow, I can't coach and take photos at the same time.
But correct me if I'm wrong, you do have a wrestling background yourself, correct?
Oh, I mean, some. It's not like nothing in college or anything like that.
But you know your way around the mat.
Enough.
So for you to get an opportunity to do something like this is really two of your bucket list things. I mean, you're getting
for sure.
You're getting to do great photography, plus you're getting to see some of the primo wrestlers in the country.
Oh yeah. I mean, other than, hell, some of these guys are Olympic wrestlers, or will be Olympic wrestlers. And not only am I getting to see them, like, with where I had to enter, I'm walking past them. Like, at any time I could have just reached out and shook hands with any of them. No, I wasn't going to do that because they're in the friggin' hallway warming up. They're, in the zone, heads where it needs to be, getting ready for their upcoming match. But just going through those back halls or tunnels, whatever the hell you want to call them, like that itself, friggin' awesome.
Now, Grudge Guy, he says it's not Ric Flair versus Sting. LOL. That's a different style of wrestling. That's
I say Ric Flair versus Sting. I don't know. Savage versus Steamboat, I think, has a little bit more on it.
Now, I never wrestled in college. I did in high school a little bit, but we didn't have a competitive program. It was basically just an intramural thing that we did during PE class and stuff. Yeah. Now they actually have a real wrestling program. They compete in state tournaments and everything else here, and we have had state champions here at my high school. So it's a big deal now. Didn't used to be, but we had a we had a teacher who had a background as a wrestler, and he wanted to get the program together to give the kids, that weren't involved in other sports something to do. And it took off. It took off so big they had to build a wing on to the end of the gym just to house a wrestling program. They have their own room now where they can practice and have all their stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To say it. That's the one thing that kills me about the school that my kids attend now. Like, so my daughters will wrestle for the girls team, and the girls team wrestles for, I guess you call it the big school in the district, which they have a wrestling room. But the team that my son will eventually wrestle for, they don't have a wrestling room. And like how any school that has a wrestling program in Pennsylvania and they don't have a wrestling room, it just absolutely kills me, because Pennsylvania is the number one state for wrestling. Like, oh, what was it? I didn't see the stats for last year, but in 2023, for the NCAA championships, there were, I believe it was 49 wrestlers in the NCAA championship finals for Division I wrestling. And then, excuse me, those 49 wrestlers were from Pennsylvania. Then the next 4 states after that, so 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all combined together only made up the next 48 wrestlers. So 2nd through 5th were still 1 wrestler short of what Pennsylvania had. And that's not like, that's schools from Pennsylvania. That's wrestlers that were born and raised and, graduated from high schools in Pennsylvania, then went on to wrestle collegiate wherever. And I've never understood exactly why wrestling is so competitive here, but it is. Like when I wrestled, we were always told, like, as long as you podium at states, which is top 8, you were usually able to get a college scholarship over a lot of state champions from other states, because it's that much more competitive.
Well, I think anything that gets kids involved, and especially physical fitness and stuff like that.
Oh, especially nowadays.
Whereas, football requires certain attributes, basketball requires certain attributes and skills and stuff, but you could take just about any kid and give them a little bit of instructions and teach them how to wrestle. And usually they're not going to get pitted against somebody who's going to be physically intimidating, because they group them by weight class. So obviously you're not going to have a little kid going up against somebody twice their size or something like that. So
I don't know. You should have seen that heavyweight from Michigan. Sorry, Gary, I don't mean to cut you off, but
yeah, you're fine.
I'm gonna say that heavyweight match was kind of boring, because like the heavyweight for Penn State, like, it's what you expect. Like, at that level, like, he's built like he's a friggin' tank. And then that heavyweight for Michigan walked out. I was like, well, shit, I'm pretty sure I could take him. I'm not even joking. I was like, where the hell did they get this guy from? Every once in a while, there's that one where you're just like, what the hell? But yeah, overall, I agree, Gary, because weight classes, and it's done by age and whatnot, until you get into even junior high, because junior high for wrestling still goes up to 9th grade. So you could be a 7th grader wrestling a 9th grader, which with puberty and stuff, like by the time a kid's 15 compared to a kid that could be 12 or 13, that's a hell of a lot of development. But other than those freak situations, everybody's on a pretty even keel.
Now, if you want to get an idea, now this is around here. I'm not sure where you live, but around here, there's what a high school gym looks like decked out for wrestling. So instead of you've got 4 mats laid out onto the basketball floor, which of course half the seats are retracted to make more floor space and stuff like that. But so
I wish we had gyms
have
around here big enough.
4 matches going on at the same time if you wanted to. Especially if they've got like a big invitational tournament going on. And you've got a lot of wrestlers to get through. You're probably going to have more than one match going on at the same time. But it's a big deal. You'll have a lot of kids in there. A lot of times a local organization will go in and do a feed. Because believe it or not, all those kids wrestling, they work up an appetite. And if you've got some food, yeah. Between them and their parents, yeah.
Now, are the bleachers on the other side of the gym, are those retracted in all the way?
No, looks like they left about 3 or 4 rows.
Okay. I was just wondering, because I was just like, man, I wish our gyms could, be large enough to put down 4 mats like that. But then I was like, oh, if they have the bleachers sucked in, because normally most schools have to limit tournaments to like 300 kids. And even then you put, well, it depends on the size of your gym, stuff like that. Sometimes you'll have mats laid out like this and you'll split them in half and run 8 mats. Depending on the age of the wrestlers. Like in high school, you're not going to split the mats. Even junior high, you won't split them, but like 12 and under, until you get to state qualifiers and stuff like that, which is what we're doing tomorrow. You'll split them just for the sake of moving things along.
Yeah, you can see on the far side, there's looks like they left 3 rows of seats out there. So at least somebody could sit on the other side, but they've got 4 different scoring benches up there set up, and all kinds of seats off to the side for the wrestlers and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a big deal. A lot of kids. So now Sarge, he made a comment out there. And he said, I think Gizzard should join an age group appropriate wrestling club. I don't know if they quite go to my
you should look at the Bald and Fat Classic. You're going to have to travel to the East. Actually, go hang out with Sergeant Obi. There's actually one down in Florida. Florida and Georgia, actually. I'm trying to think. I think one's in November, and I think the other one might be in May.
Ozzy says, Gizzard and I are only 10 months apart. I think I could take him. And Sarge says, I'd buy a ticket to see that. Yeah. might want to have some first responders standing by. Yeah, if I get on my knees, somebody's going to have to help me up. I'll tell you that much right now. Hillbilly left us. He says he'll be back. He probably had to give Ames a present that he finally found. So anyway, let's see if I got any more mail out there. I do not. So I guess I know Hillbilly's not here, but I'm going to go ahead and transition to the final segment of the evening. And that is, what did you learn? And we're going to ask each of our panelists, what did you learn during tonight's show? And then let them talk about what they got going on and promote whatever you want to promote. So let's start with Bubba. What did you learn tonight?
I learned I want a Civivi, and I have not stopped looking at the new ones. I'm trying to find a good fixed blade, but every last one of the fixed blade ones they got, it's like way out of my price range. But the other ones, I'm looking at the Cairo right now, and it looks pretty cool. But and then the back
Cairo's pretty cool.
But I like I said, I want a fixed blade. But yeah, their fixed blades are wow, my god. But yeah, the Cairo and the Backlash are the two ones I'm looking at right now. So yeah, I learned I want a Civivi, and I want to see what they can do. I also instinctively know that I need to stop staring at Amazon for so long because I already bought another knife set. So I bought the counterparts to the cleaver I showed you guys earlier from Husk. They had a 3-knife set for it, and I'm like, okay. So I learned I need to stay off Amazon for right now.
Yeah, probably do. But yeah, so what do you have coming up on your channel? Anything we need to know about, or?
I am hoping over the next few days that I'm going to finally be able to do the video that I promised to do about 3 weeks ago, because it's looking like work is starting to calm down and the weather's starting to get a little bit better out here in Kentucky. So I'm not going to have many people calling off and me having to work, 12s and 16s anymore. So yeah. But other than that, I'm probably going to have a video. I'm probably going to go back to doing the good, the bad, and the Bubba next week. I don't know what day next week. It might not be on Wednesdays anymore. It might be, Saturday mornings or something like that, or Saturday afternoons before I leave for work. But hopefully we'll have that back on there again.
There you go. Well, we look forward to that. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Let's go to Guns and Barbecue. What did you learn tonight, Bubba?
So I gotta ask Bubba a question real quick. Bubba, you said this the BB Backlash?
Yeah.
Oh, so I've got a ton of those. I would highly recommend that. I it's like my favorite knife. That's my EDC pocket knife at this point. I've given away several of those to friends and stuff. Or like they'll ask to borrow my pocket knife or something, and I'll hand it to them. They're like, "Oh, this is awesome." I'm like, "I'll get you one," and then I just buy them Backlash because I'm nice. Yeah, definitely get that one. You'll love it. I love the ergonomics on it. So yeah.
All right. Right
It's
now,
fun,
I just
You're
bought it. Damn you.
But
right.
so what did I learn?
What did you learn?
I learned that I am still thankful that Gary reads directions in Gorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. You got anything coming up for us, buddy?
I wish we've got state qualifier tournament this weekend. I am going to be so busy with that. Like I said, I was setting up mats for friggin' 4:30, 6 hours tonight, and then we got 2 days of the tournament. I've still got a shit ton of Penn State photos to edit, and I've got no time to even focus on making content for YouTube. But thanks for the invite.
You bet. And I've got a link out there for Blind Guy Photography Facebook page.
Well, thank you.
And if you want to see some of the later stuff he's done, also, I am putting a link out there for blindguyphoto.com. So if you want to see what this guy can do with a camera, come check it out. Both of those. I'm definitely following his Facebook page. And good stuff there. So thank you very much for being here. Real quick, Ozzy says, I'm getting tired of waiting for good weather to put the first round through my new CZ75 PO1. Think I will go to the indoor range this weekend. Very good. Okay, so Hillbilly, what did you learn this evening?
Oh man, I learned that when you get your wife a present for something, don't hide it too good, because then you spend all day looking for it. Thank goodness I finally found it.
But you found it. You found it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of suspected when you were gone a second ago that's what you were doing. So
Yeah. And I've been known back when the girls was young, being, a single father, or during the time I was a single father, I would try to get like Christmas presents for them here and there, throughout the year. So it didn't cost me so much at one time.
right.
And I would like hide them back, like in a walk-in closet or something. And then I'd forget about them. And then like later on, I'd be looking for something. I'm like, oh, there's where those presents were.
So what have you got coming up?
Man, tomorrow night we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy.
Yes,
9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern on Hillbilly Up. And then Tuesday nights we have our VIP chat. And I will be giving away a O-Site FDE color. It's I did some testing with it, and man, it just passed great and all that. I put a video the other day on it, and so I'm gonna be giving that away to a channel member on Tuesday nights. So looking forward to that.
Cool.
And of course, got more videos coming out.
Pretty darn cool, yeah. And I know we're about to end the show and everything, but I was looking at YouTube videos and I found this thing about a month ago, and it was somewhere in Illinois, is all I remember, that a guy was doing some remodeling on his mother's house, the house he grew up in. He was doing some work, tearing out one of the walls in the bathroom, I believe it was. And when he tore out a wall, he tore the drywall and everything off. He's getting ready to replace it, and he saw something down inside, in between a couple of studs, and he picked it up, and it was a wrapped Christmas present that was actually something that he was supposed to have gotten when he was like 10 years old or something like that. Wow. And it was like a Red Ryder BB gun that evidently, the story goes that when he was a kid, his parents used to hide presents up in the attic.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, this box got just in the right position where it fell clear down into the wall below.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't know why the parents didn't realize that the gift was missing or whatever, but he ended up getting it when he was in his 50s or something like that. But it was still fine. Still in it. He still has it. He's got it in his office up on the wall on a shelf.
That is so cool.
But now he's rocking a cool eye patch.
That's right. So I thought that was kind of appropriate to what you were saying there. So anyway, that pretty much sums up another episode of Fowl Territory. We will be back again next week, same time, Friday night, 9 p.m. with Fowl Territory 299. Getting close to that 300 number. Also, for my channel members, we will have a members-only chat on Wednesday night, as we do every Wednesday night, and that is at 8 p.m. Central. And as you channel members know, we give away one of the knives that I review every week on there. So if you ever want a chance to win one of the knives I've reviewed, all you got to do is be a channel member, and that starts at 99 cents a month. So for less than a quarter each week, you got a chance to win a knife. All you got to do is come onto the live stream and enter the giveaway there. So anyway, that's what we got going on. We got knife reviews. We got flashlight reviews. We got a little bit of everything on my channel. So try to put a short out every day for everybody. So I would like to thank everybody who was on the panel this evening. Guys made the show good. I know we had a kind of a sparse crowd tonight, being Valentine's Day and all that stuff, but thanks to all of you for spending time with all of us this evening. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody out there in the chat for contributing and sending in Gorn. And as always, thanks to my channel members for supporting the channel and doing the things that you do to keep us going here. I sure do appreciate it. I want everybody to have a good, safe weekend. And remember that if anyone tries to infringe on your right to keep and bear arms, give them the bird, as I always say. So on behalf of my panel, this is Gizzard Gary. And give them one last chance to say goodbye before we roll the end credits. So, panel, go.
Bye, everybody. Have a good time.
Well, about a bird. A bird's a word.
Hey,
Like that. Cost my money, now a song stuck in my head.
Good night, everyone.